Welcome to the 55th episode of the MC Knitting Adventures podcast. My name's Colleen.
And my name is May. Welcome to the returning viewers, and for those of you watching us for the first time, we're glad you could join us. We've got lots going on today, lots to talk about, and make sure you stay tuned for our craft adventure piece. But before we begin all of that, Colleen's going to talk about what we're wearing.
So the first thing that we're going to talk about is what May's wearing, and that is the Beignet by Nelkin. And so May herself crafted the ring, the wooden ring, which was great because I had looked all over London and couldn't find one. And then the yarn itself is leftover yarn that I had. It's String Theory hand-dyed yarn caper sock.
You're loving this, aren't you?
I am loving it. And I said to May, do you want some bling or do you not want some bling? Because I could just pick different beads, but she wanted a little bit of bling, and it just goes up the one side.
So is there a pattern for the beads, or is it like you just randomly choose?
No, it's all in the pattern. Nelkin is kind of new to me designer, and she does an amazing job of explaining. I always like to learn new things. But
can you put more in if you wanted to, or not? Like, or do you have to kind of follow the pattern?
I think
or just because
for me right now it's new, and I'm just going to kind of follow what the pattern says, and then we're going to go from there and maybe be a little creative.
Yeah. Well, the pattern's nice. Well, they turned out nice.
It looks really nice. I'm so glad that you knew how to make that circle for me, because I didn't know what else I was going to do.
It's a gift.
It's a gift. Yes, it's a gift. She has many. So that's what May's wearing. And as far as I am wearing another Nelkin thing. It's called the Pioneer Cuff. And it came as a kit. So this is actually Anzula Cloud, which is a light fingering weight yarn. And it's merino, cashmere, and nylon. We always like that. A little bit of cashmere. So I'm going to hold it up, but then
I'll take another one of
I'm going to ask you to take a picture. So it comes with these clasps at the back, which are really, really nice and comfortable. Like, it's not too much. And it's not too blingy. There's a little bit of bling. And I think with this one, I think I've got, this uses fingering weight yarn, and so I think with that I can do a little bit of trying to find some beads and putting it together, so that's when I'll start being a little bit more creative. Right. But the first time through, it's always nice to do a kit. That one I didn't, because I'd done some other work with some beads, and so I thought I could handle it.
Well, it turned out wonderful. Now, like I said, you're really enjoying this. Are you surprised that you are enjoying this so much?
Well, I think what I'm finding is there's so many different things you can do with beads. I mean, you could make a necklace, you could make a bracelet.
Right. Earrings? Imagine having earrings.
You can.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. There's a pattern for that. So I'm not sure. They're a little dangly for you, but you never know what's going to happen. So that's what we're wearing. And next we're going to talk about finished objects. My first finished object, or objects, is a pair of socks, and they are the Umbrella Socks by KF Jones. Now, I had knit these socks 2 or 3 months ago, and I just needed to cut in the heel. So we've done a tutorial on how to cut in an afterthought heel. It doesn't describe this pattern because it's a paid-for pattern, but it will show you that. Now, the other thing that cutting in can do is you have a pair of socks where one of the socks, I think you must have caught it on a nail, it's got a big hole in it. So I'm going to use exactly the same method I did to cut in the heel to cut out your toe. So I'm going to pick up stitches, and you'll see that in the tutorial, but I'm going to pick up stitches, and then I'm going to cut out the yarn, and then I'm going to re-sew. It's kind of the middle of the ball of your foot, and I have a little skein of yarn, like a little bit left.
Cut into that.
You know what? When you got a big hole like that, it's not scary because you can't wear it as it is. When you're brand new socks, then it's a little bit more scary. But I think that practice is going to be helpful.
Now the thing is, I love it when you say we did a tutorial. I feel like
we did.
Is that the royal we? Because really, I'm only holding the camera.
That's okay. I like that you hold the camera.
I have nothing to do with the stitches.
You're very good though, because you say no, you need to hold it here and move it here, and I need to see this, and then you put all the pieces together. So I'm impressed.
I really don't have very much to do with this, but you did a good job.
Well, thank you. So here they are. I love these socks. So this is Biscotte yarns, and this is called Pansy Blue, which means blue pansy.
They look like a blue pansy, don't they?
So that's what that is. And I love them. I made them for me a 56 stitch, which I've discovered is what works for my foot. You are a little bit more of a 64 stitch sock, but I really like this. This heel is called her umbrella heel, and it fits really nicely, actually.
Feels nice.
I know, I'm really happy with them,
They'll be great for the winter, not now, but they'll
not
be
right
good
now.
for the winter. Yes.
That's right. All right, so those are my umbrella socks by KF Jones.
Beautiful.
Of the Bakery Bears. I'm really happy with that. And sometimes when you have small feet, size 5
There's
and a half
like
or so,
lots of yarn.
there's lots of yarn left over. So I decided that I would make a pair of baby socks. And I figure if I do this every time I make a pair of socks, I make some baby socks, it's going to work. So these are the baby socks designed by Kay Atherley. And Kate does amazing work. Her patterns are great.
Oh, they're so cute.
So I tried really hard, because it's okay when you're an adult and you understand why the socks don't look the same. But I really like how these came out.
They're so cute. Now, is this the same pattern?
That is the one from Kate Atherley. Yeah, it's the same yarn. That's what I had left.
Right.
And there's what she did. So,
But I mean, do you use the same pattern to use the socks, or is that a different?
no, it's a different pattern.
Oh, okay.
But the stripe looks great.
Oh,
and to be
yeah.
honest with you, I have enough yarn to do another pair.
Oh, that'd be great, because they're so cute, and I think they would sell at our little booth. I'm going to be selling everything.
Exactly.
You better not stay still, Colleen. Put a price tag on you too.
So I keep saying, I just go like this and I say, okay, hang the price tag on my ear. So I'm really happy with those. And we're just going to start. I have done advent calendars for the last couple of years, and I tend to have difficulty trying to figure out what to do with all those little skeins. One pair of those socks, and those are 6-month socks, that is basically, I think it's 9 grams. So I can make easily a pair of socks. Yeah, with the mini skeins. Yeah. And you know, even if I just putter at it, I mean, they go really quickly.
And you enjoy doing those too.
I did. That's so fun because they're so cute when it's all done. So I love that. So those are the socks situation. And the next thing I'm going to talk about is the Simple Hug Cardi. And that's by the Cozy Up sisters from Grand Prairie, Alberta. And I used 2 different yarns. I used Vintage DK, Barocco Vintage DK.
Is that one of the Cozy Up sisters on the book?
It is.
Oh,
there you go.
Probably show a picture of that's like a picture of her.
That is a nice picture.
Yeah.
So that's that. And then the other part is Cumulus. So when they did theirs, they held mohair. And I wasn't so sure I could handle mohair. So this Cumulus is Surrey alpaca and silk. So it's got some, it'll help it last a little longer, and it is very soft. Oh, so nice. This is blocked and finished, and oh my goodness, it feels beautiful. Like a dream. So the blocking made a big difference, and it's going to be nice just to have a black turtleneck or black long sleeve shirt in the winter and wrap it around you, and I think it will be great.
Yeah, I'd like to get some photographs with it on, with you.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe for next one or whatever.
Yeah,
that's nice.
It's a little warm for right now. That's okay.
That's beautiful though. Love the the colors that you chose. Thank you. And the feels very
and
nice.
I had some help, which was really nice, because the Cozy Up Knits mum, Jojo, had done a pattern, and it was a certain number of stripes, and I really liked what it was, and so I had, you know, messaged them on Ravelry, can you help me? I'm just trying to figure out, I've got this many colors, what am I going to do? And they were sweet and sent me a picture, and then I could try and figure out the number of rows. And I'm really happy that they did, because that made life a lot easier. So that's that.
You've been busy.
I have been busy. Now this is technically not really a finished object, but it is a finished object.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean is, this is this pattern. It's in 3s, and that's by Kelly Herdrich.
It turned out nice.
And I had shown it to you in a bamboo cotton, and we'd sewn some buttons on in our tutorial. And then this was the second one that I knit, and this is out of Red Heart Soft. So machine washable. It's going to be really nice to take care of.
I like the buttons you chose for this one.
And so these are actually plastic buttons that look a little bit like wood buttons. So I sewed the buttons on. That was how I finished it off. And these ones, when I did the tutorial for the ones on the cotton, I just did a knot because the in threes itself was so much smaller. There wasn't a whole lot of places to weave in things. This one was different because it's a little bit bigger, because the yarn isn't as slippery. Then I wove it in, and so I finished it that way.
Right. Now, one of the ladies in comments was very nice to comment and suggested to sew another button on the back.
Right.
So the kids wouldn't get that off and choke, and I thought that was a great suggestion. So thanks
Absolutely.
for that. Appreciate that comment.
That's right.
And so never would have thought of that.
No,
So
me neither.
good. Turned out nice.
Exactly.
Perfect.
So that's that. And my last one, oh my goodness, we're back to beads again. So this is the Cassio collar, and that's by Nelkin. And here we are. Now I'm going to try and hold this up. I can get May to take a picture. So it is made with, this is called Jaeger Spun Zephyr. This came actually in a kit, so all the beads, and
Except for this piece.
except for that piece, because I asked May, this is, shall we say who it's for? No. This is a Christmas present. And so we had a conversation of, should we make it plain or should we have this one? We decided this one was good. So I have the ring that came with the kit to do that. But I wanted to see, part of the reason for ordering a kit is so you see what kind of beads and the way that they get placed.
And you just bought that at Michael's, this piece here.
Absolutely.
At
I did.
Michael's.
Yeah.
The beads turned out great.
I know. I'm really, really happy with it.
Yeah,
I think it's good.
Nice. Those would be great gifts for Christmas.
Yeah. So we're having to be very careful not to say who they are.
I know that clip on here is you hook this on.
Yes.
Just like this. But I like mine. That's magnetic. It just goes bloop, bloop.
Can you
Easy.
show? That would be great if you could.
Okay. Make
Voila.
me do it on this and then it won't work. It's
There.
magnetic. It just goes like that.
Yes.
And then you just pull it off.
So I had asked you, this clasp is the one that comes with the kit. Okay.
Right.
It's called a hook and eye clasp. Maybe I'll get May to take a picture of it. And I said to May, do you want that? She goes, no, I can't be bothered. I don't want to do that. And so I made a magnetic one.
Yeah, I like the magnetic.
So the person that this is made for could handle the hook and eye clasp. We're going to talk probably next episode of something that I made for somebody else who I know would not be able to handle a hook and eye clasp. And so it's going to be a magnetic for them.
Perfect.
Oh my goodness. So those are our finished objects. And any finished objects for you?
I don't. Well, I do, but they're in our craft section again.
Okay, so we'll...
I just don't want to double up, double down.
That's okay. So that's that. And next we're going to talk about works in progress. My first work in progress is a car seat blanket. And it comes out of this book. And it's by Becky Stevens. It's a leisure arts book.
Now, you've made this before, correct or no?
I have not.
Oh.
So this is, it's the Basketweave. And this is a nice little book.
But you have made a basket weave.
I have. It was
I thought so.
Yes.
And I'm not even a knitter, and
But not this.
but not that one.
So
Okay.
the one that I made before was all the same color, and it was a Mary Maxim kit.
Oh, and it wasn't
No.
from this.
Now, let's talk about...
Now, where did you get this pattern book from then?
That's the funny part.
Oh.
So I had seen this on Amazon, and I ordered it on Amazon, and then it was going to come in a couple of weeks, and then they emailed and said, nope, it's not coming. They refunded me my money, and I went, oh, that's too bad, because they really thought this would be a good book. And then we happened to go to Michael's. We don't go out quite so much as we used to, but we were at Michael's, and guess what? There it was, sitting there. So I was glad to support Michael's. That was good. So
Did it come in Amazon too? Did
no,
they have two of them?
No, I didn't,
okay.
because Amazon had refunded the money. They had
Oh,
said we
okay,
can't get it.
perfect
So
then.
I was really
They
happy.
couldn't get it because they were hiding at Michael's.
That's exactly right.
No,
so
this is my favorite. I love this
I
combination.
have made one, and then I'm going to show you the one that's work in progress. So this is actually a finished object. So the reason why we love this car seat blanket is it's just the right size for a baby's car seat, just to lay over them so they're comfy in the car. And so these are the Hudson's Bay colors.
Which I love.
Exactly. And so I had made a cowl for you, and I'd made some cowls for the kids.
You
And
did.
so I decided to give this a try. So this is striped the whole way.
And you like that, and I like
I
that.
did. And then I thought, okay, I want to try something a little different. And it was all about how much white yarn I had. So the yarn itself is Barocco Comfort.
Soft.
It's really soft. It's nylon and acrylic, machine washable.
And it's perfect size
tumble
for a
dry.
car seat. Perfect.
It is. I really like it. So now this is what I'm doing differently. Same idea, still basket weave. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do the 4 colors on one end. So that, and that's the order that they go in. That's a whole other story. I'll tell you in a second. So that's 4 colors. I'm going to do plain, and then I'm going to do these colors, and then green, red, yellow, blue, and then the white at the end.
Well, it'll be nice to have two different kinds.
Exactly.
But I like them both.
Exactly.
Equally as nice. Yeah.
So I'm really happy with that. So we'd gone for a drive, which we haven't done for a while, but we decided we would go. And I had thought, okay, I don't want to mess up the order of the colors, and so I wrote them all down. And then before I was going to start the next color, I looked to make sure I knew what it was, and it was red, and I knew it was red. I thought it was red, knew it was red. There we go. And then we were talking, blah, 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 and I looked down, and what I had done, I don't know, is picked up green and started halfway across with green. I said, May, how can I
think red,
and
think red,
double check red, and pick up green yarn and start it? So this is why I like knitting. Because knitting is, just pull back half a row. You can always start fresh. So it's all good. So knitting will work well in that. So, but you just kind of have to laugh at yourself, because
you do have to laugh.
You kind of get distracted a little bit,
right.
you know, and you start thinking something else, and there you go. So that is my first work in progress. Now, the next work in progress is called the Little House Hat. And that's by K.F. Jones of the Bakery Bears. They have a wonderful podcast. I will watch them. I watch the Cozy Up Knits as well. And this, if you're a Patreon, so it means you pay a little bit every month. Sometimes they will have free patterns, and they've done what the Bakery Bears have done, what they're talking about is called a knitting university. So they did socks in Magic Loop, socks with DPNs, and this one is a color work one. And what I like is they do a little bit at a time, and they give you some ideas and do some tutorials, and I'm always willing to learn to see. So I like color work, but I'm always a little, don't want it to be too tight. So this little house hat, I had leftover yarn, and it seems to me that's what I like using up. So I had some Knit Picks City DK.
There's not a lot of color work in this. Where's the colors in this?
Okay, we'll talk about color work in a second. That's Northfield Valley Yarns is the black. So color work is just that, where in this case there's only 2 colors. It's still color work. So you're still carrying floats behind. I'll just see if you hold that part. Okay. So there's the floats. I've tried to keep them nice. There's not so bunching. So this yarn, they both have wool, alpaca, and silk. I think I tried to match them up. Wool, alpaca, and superfine alpaca. This has Donegal tweed in it. I'm making a hat. Don't know who it's for. Don't know if it's for me, but I wanted to just practice my color work. So I went to their university and I grabbed some yarn that I already had, and then I was able to do that. So this is leftover yarn from my Arboreal sweater that I made.
Nice. Feels soft.
I'm really happy with
great.
That. Yep. So I'm going to finish that up. That may be a Christmas gift for somebody.
For yourself?
Well, maybe for me, but maybe for somebody else. I've kind of just decided I'm doing Christmas knitting in August, and hopefully by the end of...
We'll have gifts.
We'll have gifts all ready to go. So that's my second work in progress. And my last work in progress is another Laura Nelkin design. It's called the Caramelized Cowl. And this is one where you could buy a kit, and I thought, you know, Colleen, you've got lots of yarn. So I had an idea. I'd ordered a few beads, and I thought, okay, what is the yarn? So this was made in Kettle Yarn Bale singles. And I thought, I'm sure I have some singles, which would have a little bit more yardage. And so what I found in our lovely stash, this is yarn that we got in Edinburgh when we went.
I like to say our stash too.
That's our stash. Because then if I divide it equally by 2, it doesn't look like I have too much.
I have nothing to do with that stash, just for the record.
Well, you helped me find this yarn. So this was in Edinburgh. It was
I'm an enabler then.
Kathy Knits, yes. And so this is by easyknits.co.uk, and this is Knit with Color.
So an Edinburgh yarn that's very nice.
It is beautiful, and it is my favorite color.
It looks like heather, you know, like
exactly. It's going to seem like I lost a whole bunch of stitches, but I didn't. So what they do on one side, and I don't want to say too much, so there are some beads. I'll get May to take a picture. I didn't want the beads to be over the top beads because I wasn't ready for that. So there are some beads. This is an I-cord edge on this side, and then on this side it's something I've never done, which is kind of an attached border. So as you're going around casting off sides, the side, you're actually knitting a border. Very interesting. I said to May, it tells me to drop stitches. I don't want to drop stitches. I never want to drop stitches, but it all makes sense.
It all works out in the end.
So this is very nice, and I know this is going to block really well. So it is 70% merino and 30% silk.
Feels cottony a little bit.
Yeah, it does. That's the silk in it, I think.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'm really, really happy with that.
Great.
Those are my works in progress, and next we're going to talk about our craft adventure.
My first crafting adventure, Colleen, is tables for my mother.
Yes.
They kept me very busy. What had happened, my mom had some plastic tables. She'd asked me to come over and paint them. I looked at them. I thought, you know what? I have some cedar in the garage. I could maybe make some nice wooden ones for her.
See, that's what you do. And I would go, I'm going to buy her some new tables at the store.
Well, I could just see that cedar, and I love cedar.
Yes.
And I'm going to put a little video on my mom's reaction. We'll put it in right here.
Oh, that's good.
Hi, Mom. How you doing?
Hi, Mary. How are you?
Good. I just came to see how our tables worked out. I want to put them on the podcast. I didn't get some pictures of them. So how are you liking them?
Oh, I like them. They're lovely and they're
Yes.
a good height for my new chairs.
Yeah, I made them a little higher for you. And the top is cedar, and I filled in the holes there for you.
I've seen that. That's
Yeah.
lovely. They're all smooth. Good.
Yeah, and I made 2 end tables, and I made 1 coffee table. And is that enough for you?
Yeah. And how do you make the legs, May? How?
Well, I just used those spindles, actually, when you see it to the left there, the spindles on your deck.
All
I
right.
just used those, and I cut those for those ones. And then for the coffee table that I made,
Yeah.
I used a little bit of thicker leg. I had some extra wood I had bought,
All right.
just some scrap wood. And so, again, there you go. But I think they turned out nice.
Oh, they turned out lovely. I'm pleased
Yeah,
with them. Really
I'm glad
pleased.
you really like them. All right.
Okay.
Well, thanks for that, Mum. How have you been coping through this COVID?
It's okay. Okay. No, I see you now and again, right?
Right. Have you been going out?
And you're getting my groceries.
Yeah,
which-
Colleen gets your groceries, which
that's
is great.
Colleen, yeah. It's great.
Yeah, good. All right. Well, okay. Well, I'm glad you like your tables.
I love
and
them. I just love them.
good. And we'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye. Well, that was my mom's reaction. She really enjoys the tables. Her friends say that they love them. Everybody goes over to visit that she's not supposed to have over. I keep lecturing her. And you know when she says on the video, oh, not too bad. I have to lecture her all the time. She visits with everybody. And I keep saying, Mom, you can't go to a party. But she has been pretty good. There was a party of 50.
And she didn't
Go, which I was glad. But she has this person and that person. I'll say, Mom, you have to I'm distancing myself, she says, and I'm wearing a mask. I don't know. Anyway, that's that story. So I came home and Colleen said, you know what would be really nice if I could have a cedar box for my socks. And I thought, well, with the leftover cedar I did for my mom's tables, I thought I could make Colleen a nice cedar box for whatever. And so you custom made the measurements.
Yep.
And I made the cedar box for, is it for socks?
It's for socks.
So you kind of measured for 2 sets of socks
Yep.
here.
There'll be 2 across and then just as many as I can squeeze in back.
Nice. So
It's beautiful.
you wanted to have this on there.
Yeah, so you can see that it was socks.
I routed out this so the bottom fits really nice in there. And
Yep, you did an amazing job.
I just used plywood for the bottom and I just stained it a little bit.
Right.
And then I used cedar for the sides and the front here. And it turned out quite nice.
I'm really, really happy with it. So I'm just going to put it on the shelf in the closet. The cedar
And you don't
will-
need a lid? Like you said you didn't want a
You
lid?
know, we should be okay. I figured the cedar's going to keep the moths away, and we don't really have moths anyway,
Right.
so it's okay. But you did such a nice job on it, and I can hardly wait. I mean, I've got my brand new pair of socks that you saw in Finished
Right.
Objects, and they're going to be starting in there. So I'm going to go into the drawers and all those things that have a little bit of wool in it, going in with the cedar.
Perfect. So it
So
smells really
thank
nice.
you so much.
It smells like cedar.
It's beautiful.
I've seen them online where they're narrower for,
Yes.
but you wanted the double just because
Yeah.
it fits
I
exactly
think,
on
and
top.
it with the way that the wood that you had, that was going to be much easier for you as well. So.
Right, the height wise, it was
Yes.
going to be.
Exactly.
Be
So I'm really
nice to
pleased
live.
with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you
It's
liked
good.
it. Now, the moth story, I got to tell you, I did leave the garage door open one night all night.
Look at my face.
And when you said, you know, we don't really have moths.
Okay, are you talking the door into the house or the garage door?
The garage door will open, and then you come into the door, and then you come into the house.
Uh-huh.
There was a few moths, and normally I don't really care, but I know the yard and everything's in here, so I was very careful to get rid of all of them. But just, I love your face right now. But I'll be better at not keeping the garage door open.
That would be good because you don't want people
Well, you
to
have
take
seen
your
a box,
stuff
so you don't have to
anywhere.
worry about it.
We may need a lid. I'm just saying, we may need a lid for it.
Now, what have you been up to craft-wise?
Well, a little bit ago, I had ended up with some enamel pins, and I thought I want to have a kind of banner to put them in. So I tried, you know, you Google, you look on YouTube to see what you could find, and then I did a little bit of fiddling with it, and then I ended up with this. So I'm quite happy with this. May had to help
I think
me out
it
a little
turned
bit.
out beautiful, didn't it?
I'm really, really pleased.
Wow. The dowel's good.
The dowel's good. So, and this is just some Pima cotton that I had and just made that so it would hang up. It's got a couple of my enamel pins. I have a few more to put
So
on
if you
there.
have buttons, pin, this is a great idea for anything like that you want to pin up
Exactly.
and you want to display. You just can
Exactly.
hang this up now. So now you're going to have a collection of everywhere we go. I know.
Yes,
I know
you're
this
right.
is coming.
She knows me very well.
Every time we go on our travels, we're going to collect a pin and put it on there, and then you have a good memory
Exactly. So I just want to
of it.
show you.
It's a little thicker material. What is
It
that?
is. So we were at Joann's. Back in the days, we could go to the States. And we ended up with this, which is called duck canvas. And what I did, the one that I had seen, basically took a piece of paper like that, folded it in half. Now this measurement from here to here is 3 inches. Then you just join from there up to that 3-inch part, and you do that, and then you can make the banner
You end up with a perfect banner.
with the V. Now I changed it up because it just wanted it to be black. I wanted to have a little bit of idea. So what I did was I took a bigger piece of paper. That's what happens when you were a math teacher, had to print off exams. Same idea, it's still that 3 inches. And then what I did was I made up 2 pieces, small one that would be of the canvas itself, and then the top one, this is another one that's cut out, it's just that size, and that's the part that goes around.
This is this part here.
Exactly. So what you end up with, you just basically sew it so the pieces together. I should explain a little bit better.
I love what you did here.
Yes, I'm really happy with it. So these 2 get sewn together, and then you sew this part to this part, flip it inside out, seam it, and then you can see that you just, as May was showing you, you just flip it over the dowel. I didn't have the size of dowel, so I just guessed it, and May had a dowel that would work, and then I used a line of stitching to do that, and so there it is.
You can use a piece of wood, a flat piece of wood if you want to make that hole.
Exactly. So I'm
That's
really,
what I'm
really
raised,
pleased
yeah.
with that.
And you can make it longer or shorter, whatever you want.
Wider, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a great idea for display.
Well,
I love it.
I don't have that many enamel pins, and so I didn't want to have this big, huge banner, but I'm really happy with this. That would be a nice pair.
Nice
So I'm going to
size, yeah.
hang that up over by where I do my sewing, and then I will have some
You can
pins.
even put a self-portrait here and have it. There's all kinds of ideas for that.
That's right.
All right.
So that's my banner for my enamel pins, and next we're going to talk about souvenirs. May, do you have any souvenirs?
Well, I do. I don't know if I've shown this before on the podcast, but if I haven't, I apologize. But I'm going to show it to you again because I got this from Amazon.
Right.
And what it is you attach this
Right.
to a table.
Okay.
And you know how we're always doing crafting, or you need that
Right,
extra hand.
absolutely, yep.
And it's basically just a small little vise for.
Right.
It'd be good for miniatures. It's going to be good for.
Right. I have a question. This has a
Well, the ball on
Also,
it, you
yeah,
can,
what does
you
that
can
do?
make it go, you know, move it around once I do this. It's kind of hard right now.
Okay, I
because
don't
it's not
wanna-
on the thing.
yeah, okay.
But it can turn around whatever way you want. So it's really quite
cool.
cool. And
Oh,
that came
excellent.
from Amazon. Came in the mail.
It always amazes me. It
I know.
It just
comes in the
shows
mail.
up.
We've actually had a piano, an organ from Amazon, and we've had a fireplace delivered from
Delivered here.
Amazon at the door. I can't believe the things that we've had, but
Exactly.
I love getting it, things like that. It's great, and
Exactly.
they're always
Lots of
really
fun.
nicely packaged. Like,
Exactly.
everything we've gotten has been great. So
Yeah.
anyway, that is, I would recommend that if you are doing miniatures or any kind of crafting work at the kitchen table in the winter. Like, you know, it's perfect. Love it.
Excellent.
Yes, and how about yourself?
All right. Well,
I know there's always something.
there's a little bit. So let's first of all talk about Amazon, because life can be fun. So I go to the mailbox, and inside the mailbox, which is a tiny little mailbox, one of the ones that you go in a subdivision, there is a book that is squished in there. And I physically can't even get the book out. I can't figure out what to do. I can't figure out how to bend it, curve it without like wrecking this book. Like I didn't really know what to do. So what I figured was the bigger boxes had somebody had already had some stuff in, and it just, so I thought, okay, take a deep breath. I have a thing about books.
Can I just explain to
Yeah.
the people that are watching? We have a little box, and usually in the little box, if there's a bigger box, they
Yeah.
leave a key.
Right.
So then you take the key out and you put it in the bigger box. I don't know
Right.
if that works in other countries that way.
Right.
But here in Ontario, that's how it works. So you
Right.
take this key and you open up the bigger box. But they seem to have squished the book in the little box.
Yes, they did. And so I thought, am I just gonna have to leave this thing in there? Like I cannot get it out because I didn't want to ruin it. So 5 minutes or so later, I'm thinking this has got to be hilarious to somebody to watch me try and do this. So I gave it a little curve and I moved it out. And then when I got it out, there's all this wrapping on it saying, this product was damaged in shipping, and then it had all these things you could do. I'm thinking, damaged in shipping? You just stuck it in this little box. Of course it's damaged. But to be honest with you, it's not damaged at all. So I was happy about that. Long story, but here we go. So this is called New Tricks for Scarves, Hats, Jewelry, and Other Accessories. It's called Knockout Knits. Guess who? Laura Nelkin. So this is not all about beads, but there are some patterns that involve beads, but there's a lot of other things. And what I like about Laura Nelkin, and I'm just discovering, is that she likes to put new techniques in. And so every time you're doing something, either it's a new way to cast on, or it's a new stitch, or a new way to put beads in, it's really interesting. And there are lots of beautiful ideas. She tells you how to source beads. And what I like, we're in Canada. It says places where you can get beads in Canada.
Oh, nice.
So it was really, really good. So I'm
So
going
you will like that
I will.
because it's something new.
Exactly.
You like something new, right?
Exactly. And I think that's the thing I love about knitting, is there's always something new to do. And this was a way to do something new, start with a kit and go from there.
So, nice.
So that's
Very
that.
nice.
Now, I've also discovered that you can order yarn online, as you've seen.
You just discovered this? What?
Well, you know, it just keeps happening every once in a while. So that's okay. It's all good. And so because I needed to find that alpaca, once I sourced it and I found it at Lovecrafts, it's called Cumulus by Fiberspace. It's a good price. Sometimes you can get discounts on it. So I decided to order 2. This is a teal color. And I know that Laura Nelkin has a pattern for either a scarf or a shawl that you make just out of that with a few beads. So
it is soft. Like
it is soft.
Really
it
nice.
feels
Now,
really nice.
How expensive is it in comparison to cashmere?
Cashmere is different because if you buy a cashmere that's 100% cashmere, it's over the top expensive.
Right.
This isn't that expensive. And because it's a lace weight, there's lots of yardage in it. It's a really good deal. It was good enough that I could make that sweater and it wasn't that expensive.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm really happy with that. I'm happy with the color. I don't know how it goes with my new gray hair. We'll just have to see.
Anything goes with gray.
Well,
Any color.
what I said to May is, I mean, I always ask her what color I should knit with. Always. It's a little tricky when you're buying yarn online to do that. And now it's just like I'm brand new trying to figure out what colors are going to work. So
because when you're like before, when you were kind of a redhead, you know how they had those colors done when you were a winter or spring.
I know.
Like, do they still do that, or is
I
that
don't
an
know,
old school thing?
but it was very funny because way back in the day, the first time I did it, I was a winter, and then I was sitting in a group, and they all of a sudden I was a summer, and then I went to a store and they told me I was a spring.
Maybe
And I thought, the only thing I haven't been is an autumn.
well, maybe you're not an autumn.
I'm definitely not an autumn.
But I think when you have your natural color hair, you can get away with way more colors. Like before, you couldn't have, maybe with the red hair, this wouldn't have looked good. But now with the gray hair, I think that'll look a great color on you.
Well, thank you.
See, I just always just go natural.
There you go. You're just a little salt and pepper.
Yeah.
And I'm
It's
just
more
all salt.
salt than it is pepper. But that's okay.
So those are our souvenirs. We want to thank you for watching. Now, we had one of our contest winners, our 700 subscriber giveaway contest winners, got in touch with us. We sent out the bag and she received it. So
she's
she was quite
happy.
happy
We're
with
happy
that.
for you.
Exactly.
And thanks for getting back to us to say that you got it. That was very nice too.
Exactly.
Appreciate that.
Now, the first person, whose name is Pat Ada, A-D-A, we're going to give her 2 more weeks until the next podcast. We're going to give her 2 more weeks to get in touch with us. I'll put it in the show notes, put it on Ravelry, and maybe even put it in Instagram just to let them know. She needs to get a hold of us. Message us in Ravelry. It's MC Knit Adventures, and then we'll be able to send it out to you once we know your address.
And that gives you some time to make it.
Exactly. If we don't hear from her, then on the next podcast, we're going to pull another winner and we'll go from there.
All right.
Okay?
And for those viewers, we want you to subscribe down below if you're a
Exactly.
new visitor or if you've been watching us on a regular basis. Thank you so much.
Exactly.
So subscribe and
Comment down below. Let us know what you'd like to see. If there's something with beads you want to see, let me know. If there's something you want to see May make, because she's a talented
because
soul.
I am kind of running out of craft ideas, so I need your help here. I know my friend Carrie has given me a couple ideas, and I appreciate that, but I'd like some more ideas of what I could make and what I could do.
That would be a great idea. So, until next time.
You take care.